Sweet the whispers in your ear whenever ember wanders near.
So, I don't know how many of you guys have heard about this that's going around, but someone apparently has put out a test, put out a little quiz, and I thought I'd take that quiz. And I figured I'd take that quiz on stream. So, chat, shall we find out just how chud or woke I am? Oh, yes. This test. Yeah, I'd meant to do this before, but I'd forgotten about it. And I figured, what the hell? I'll do it on stream. So, shall we see how chud or woke I am? So let's see. The chud woke values is a test that's kind of fucking stupid. Glad he admits it. At the end of the quiz, your answers will be displayed in a compass. It is modeled off of the Shapley values test, which itself is modeled off of the 8 values test. Few questions are poorly written. Why? Autism. Good answer. Secondly, this is an attempt to put some kind of science behind a chart made with some friends and acquaintances, much to consider. All right, so let us basically see just how chud or woke I am. Shall we? All right. You will be presented with a series of statements. For each one, click the button with your opinion on it. Proceed, shuffled, proceed, unshuffled, or go back. I'll do shuffle, even though I haven't done this. You want me? Okay, I'll drop the link. Hang on. I can drop the link, absolutely.
Amberton Wobble, did you speak French? Did you go wee wee? Cheer 1000.
Shut up, TXR. Hey, shit, that gets you a bulk. Wrong bulk. There, that's the bulk I wanted. That gets you a bulk. Alright, so I'll do shuffled. I will do shuffled. Right. I am flying with police and government forces using violence against unarmed civilians. Well, I will... Unarmed... Oh, God, this is such a fucking loaded question. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. What do they mean by violence when they say unarmed civilians? Like, even an unarmed civilian can be dangerous. Yeah, it's going to be... I think it's deliberately... I think it's going to be deliberately saved. I think that's the entire purpose. I'm going to say agree. I'm going to say agree, because even unarmed people can be dangerous. And it didn't say kill, it said use violence. Violence could simply mean punching, wrestling them. That's considered violence. It is immoral for a country to invade or claim another land for resources. On its face. Surely on its face. A little bit. On his face, I'm going to say a little bit. Like, just unilaterally, just basically going from country to country and grab it for its resources. Like, just on its face for that. If it's only for that, yeah, it kind of is immoral. Yeah, no context. But if we're just going to go face value, can a country just invade or claim another land just for resources? Is that immoral? Yeah, it kind of is. On its face. This alone, yeah, that's kind of conqueror mentality. So I kind of got to agree that it is immoral strictly for that. What about the small question? What about the small question that is dying from famine? Well, again, we have to go on the face of the question. You know, where it's strictly like the based on the question, a country is invading another land strictly to claim resources. It's like going strictly on that. Yeah, it is kind of if you need resources. So even if you need land, not country, it's same shit, different wording. Claiming another land is the same thing as another country. I mean, hell, even if we're talking about within its own country, yeah. The fact that it's saying a country to invade another land is not I'm taking that to mean like it's not like the government invading, taking land from its own people based on the verbiage. So you don't want to colonize Mars. Mars doesn't belong to anybody. Totally different thing there. Mars does not belong to anybody. This is saying taking country from another land to invade and claim another land for resources. And invade implies that there's already a populace or a government there. Okay, using the phrasing of invade implies that it is an already occupied nation, occupied, settled, government established nation. That one word indicates that. So I'm going to do an agree. I'm going to yes, we've been doing it since the beginning. Doesn't mean that it's not doesn't mean that's not immoral. And we have been doing it, but we were also, when we've been doing it for centuries was also, hundreds of years ago before modern day. So I'm going to say, you know what? I'm going to be neutral about it because it's like I can see both sides, but it's it's there's other factors involved here. I'm probably overthinking the fuck out of this. Yeah, it's it's like exactly. I gotta answer honestly. I'm in trouble if this is how they're gonna be doing all their questions. Because these are just like very extreme, uncontextual questions. So I'm gonna say, based on the question, if a country is invading another if a country is invading or claiming another land strictly for resources, is that immoral? I'm gonna say yes. The death penalty should exist for certain crimes. Strongly agree. This is easy. This one's easy. Should the death penalty exist for certain crimes? Absolutely. I don't even need to think about this. Yes, absolutely. There need to be. 100%. Non-binary. Oh my God. Non-binary. My name is. I'm not non-binary, so none of the. I'm hoping that's what this means, is that it's asking, are you non-binary? It's. Yeah, I'm not non-binary. I'm hoping I'm reading the question right. Like it's asking, like, are you non-binary? And it doesn't apply. So there we go. I like anime. Strongly agree. I prefer the city, the suburbs, the countryside. Ooh, that's tough. That's tough. I'm not a big fan of living in the city. That's one thing I can say. One thing I can say for certainty is I don't like living in the city. I've lived in major cities before. Didn't really like it. I like the suburbs, but there is also something to be said for the countryside too. That's why I've done the suburbs and I've done the countryside. And the suburb is nice because generally speaking, it's quiet and everything you need is right there. The countryside, however, you're surrounded by nature. It's very quiet. There's very little crime in the countryside. However, your necessities like food and like any shopping you want to do is far away. Like when I lived in a rural part of Newfoundland, that was countryside. It was nice. It was very quiet. It's very quiet out there. Very, very, very low crime. It was, very pleasant, surrounded by nature. It was lovely. But anytime I wanted to basically buy anything that I couldn't get at the small corner store, or if I needed medical treatment or for anything, I was driving 45 minutes to get to the closest place. So there is that downside. I'm going to say the suburbs. It's nowhere near as quiet and as crime-free as the countryside. However, it's still small. It's still relatively quiet. And most of what I need, I have easy access to. So I'm going to say suburbs. People should be treated equally regardless of race, gender, or creed. So I strongly agree. Absolutely strongly agree. Yes, everybody should be treated equally, regardless of any of that. 100%. I read contemporary philosophers. Who would be a contemporary? Well, I don't really read any. What is considered contemporary philosophers? Who the fuck would be considered a. Plato is not a contemporary philosopher. Peterson, maybe Pierce. I mean, I don't read any philosophers. I have not read any like modern philosophy books. So I'm going to strongly agree because I don't. Countries such as the US and Australia should give a portion of land, particularly important sites and lands, back agreed in treaties. Wait a minute. Until again. Countries such as the US and Australia should give a portion of land, particularly important sites and lands agreed in treaties, back to indigenous people. Am I understanding this correctly? Is that it is saying that the lands that the US and Australia obtained through basically just by dominance, like did the U.S. like the country had a treaty with the indigenous populace for land, and then reneged on giving them that land? Because I thought all of the if they're promised land, the government should respect the agreement. Yeah, should they give the land back to the Okay, so I was saying, should they give the land back to the native people they took the land from? Because this one's saying agreed in treaties.
Do you want them to honor the treaties or not? Share 100.
Right, but as I understand it, with the treaties, the indigenous people have their reservations. Like, they have their land, they have the reservations, which was agreed upon in the treaties. Am I correct? Yeah, that's what, that's what I thought was the stolen land argument. So is this saying that, okay, should the US and Australia give back a portion of land outside beyond the reservations that was already established in the treaties? And should the US and Australia give back land to the indigenous people that basically the US and Australia possess via the treaties? Because if that's the case, fuck no. No. I need strongly disagree. It is because the native peoples, especially in particular in the US, like Australia I can't speak to. I don't know about any agreements that occur in Australia. But in the US, the Native Americans have their reservation lands. They are ruled by the tribes. They are not taxed by the U.S. They're basically, tax-free. That's why they build their casinos and make billions of fucking dollars, is because they are basically kind of separate from the U.S. And also, most of the reservations are shitholes because, let's be real, a lot of the indigenous populations that have the reservations don't know how to take care of themselves. There's a few of them do. A few of them, especially the ones with few of them, the ones that have built up the casinos, they've made a lot of wealth and they can take care of each other, take care of themselves. The ones that didn't, a lot of reservations, there's heavy fucking drug use. Painted gasoline huffing is a huge fucking problem on a lot of reservations. There's a lot of drug and alcohol abuse on the reservations because they just don't take care of themselves. And, the tribes don't police themselves very well. Some of the tribes do. Some of the tribes have done great. Seminoles made the Hard Rock Cafe and they made millions. There's the Indian casinos that make fucking billions too. So, no. It's the native populations got that land. We were living on stolen land. No, it got conquered. It got conquered hundreds of fucking years ago. Okay? Hundreds and hundreds of years ago, the indigenous people got conquered by the white man. Sucks to suck. Sorry. all land is stolen land by that argument. Well, that is the argument. Is that all land is that is literally the argument. The argument that the SJRs make is literally every inch of land in North America is stolen land because it was basically conquered by Europeans. It's like, guess what shit happens? Okay? There is not a single inch of land on this planet that has not been conquered. Not 1 inch of land. Literally every landmass on the face of the planet, with the exception of perhaps the poles. Okay? Yeah, that's exactly where I'm going. That's exactly where I'm going. With the exception of maybe the poles. Maybe. And even that could be debatable a little bit. Every inch of land on the face of this planet has been conquered or stolen by someone. Every inch of it. You will not find 1 inch of land on the entire face of the planet that has not been stolen or conquered at some point throughout history. So yeah, fuck off with that shit. Identity groups such as race, gender, and disability are more significant divisions than economic class. I'm gonna disagree with that one. I won't go strongly disagree. I definitely disagree because again, there is context and nuance, in regards to race, gender, and disability. Disability particularly. This is the one thing that keeps me going to strongly disagree because disability, number one, I do have an issue with calling disability an identity group. I have a problem with that. But this right here can be a more significant division than an economic class because disability can inform into the economics. So that is the one thing that is preventing me from immediately going to strongly disagree, and only going to disagree is the disability portion of that. I celebrate or strongly support Pride Month. Blah, blah. I think Pride Month needs to go away. 100%. Pride Month needs to fucking end. At maximum, I would be agreeable to a Pride Day. That is the maximum that I would be agreeable to, is Pride Day. Pride Month, fuck no, get rid of it. Hasta la vista. You're out. Fuckity bye. I'll give you Pride Day, and you'll be happy with it. Because as people have been pointing out online, Pride has more than just June. There are multiple days and months throughout the entire fucking year for people that are LGBT. Multiple.
What about the other sins, Ember?
Other sins? What the hell are you talking about, other sins? What? I don't even know what sins you're talking about. Anyway, so yes, fucking bye on Pride. You get a day and you'll say thank you, can I have another? End of story. I respect people's neo-pronouns or xenogenders. Fuckity bye. Fuckity bye. There's LGBT and that's it. The rest of it, fuck off with that. You made it up, you're encouraging psychopathy. So fuck off with the rest of the alphabet too. LGBT, that's it. And even then, I've already broken that down, how even LGBT doesn't exactly work, and the entire thing should probably be completely disassembled and just go the fuck away. It's completely unnecessary. Let's see. What about Lust Month? Give it to me, baby. Fuck Lust Month. I want Lust Year. All year should be Lust Year. God damn it. Give me Lust Year or give me death. Right. The family is the most important unit in society. 100% agree. Absolutely. Family is the most important unit in society. Without family, you don't have a society. Absolutely. If you do not have a family unit, you don't have the building blocks for society writ large. So 100% agree. Telling someone to kill themselves crosses a line. Yes, I'll agree. I'll agree. I won't go into strongly agree because there is contextualness where, if you basically get a psychopath mass murderer, well...
Two things about the Aboriginals.
Okay, I'm sorry, I can't let that play out. I'm not... I'm not listening to a paragraph. There, you have those, yeah, with context there, like the person that basically slaughtered, God help me, I'm terrible with names. I forget her name. The man who slaughtered that woman on that immigrant from Ukraine on the bus and cheered for it. That's like someone like that, I would have no problem telling them to, yeah, you should just kind of like do it. Take yourself out of the gene pool. Yeah, Marina. Yeah, the Irina Zaruska. Yeah, sorry, I'm terrible. I'm terrible with some names. So yeah, I forgot her name. Yeah, the guy that killed her, I would not have too much of a problem with just telling him, yeah, you can just go ahead and take yourself out. Nobody's gonna miss you. You're not adding anything of any value whatsoever to society. You're only gonna be a burden from now until the day you finally die. So yeah, but that's like an extreme circumstance. Generally speaking, like if you don't like someone, you get into an argument with someone, even someone that is a criminal, I still don't agree with saying, oh, you should end your own life. I think they should be in prison, and I think they should be basically, doing like labor in prison to enrich the world in some way, like turning big rocks into little rocks or stamping license plates. But do I think that they should end their own lives? No, certainly not. Extreme cases, like with Lorena, again, that's an extreme case. But it's why do you think I always say in chat, we don't advocate for anyone to lose their lives? This is basically the same thing. So yes, I will agree that telling somebody to kill themselves crosses a line. I'll agree with that. Women only. My hair is okay, lengthwise. Let's see. Okay. Chat, I'm hiding this one from you because I don't want to dox myself a little bit. Okay? Don't take offense, but I don't want to dox myself, okay? There we go. I made a selection. Let's see. I am agnostic is like simply don't believe. Like I'm trying to remember. Agnostic is simply just not religious, right? Because I'm not, I won't say I'm atheist. Agnostic is I can't, so I'm guessing I'm probably atheist then. Because like I'm not religious at all. Yeah, I'm not religious at all. Agnostic is don't care one way. I think agnostic might actually fits me. Okay, agnostic is a belief in God, but not a particular one. Okay, then I'd be atheist. I'd be atheist or anti-theist. I think is more accurate. Anti-theist, because I'm just not religious whatsoever. So yeah, I'll say I'm anti-theist. How many genders are there? 2. Simple question. Agnostic means your belief in a higher power, but are really concerned with what that entity is. Okay, yeah, I don't believe in that. All right, so how many genders? 2. 2 genders, easy. Within my political movement, company, or social group, we should elevate voices from minority identity groups. Well, I'm not in a political movement, so I'm not actually sure how I should answer this. Within my political movement, company, or social group, we should elevate voices from minority identity groups. Is this basically DEI, SJR? Is that what this question is? Like, are you DEI? Are you an SJR? And, basically, you should basically be protesting for Palestine or protesting for transgender rights or bullshit like that. Okay. Strongly disagree. I dress, how do I dress? Out of my options here, I'm just gonna say average. I'm not alternative. I'm sorry, chat. I'm not a goth. Sorry. I don't dress manly. I'm not walking around wearing muscle shirts going, ugh, I'm manly. I don't wear pantsuits. Sorry. Hate to disappoint anybody that was like gooning over me potentially wearing a pantsuit. Are jeans masculine? No. Jeans are not masculine. I'll just say average. Because traditional, I'm guessing, is probably like I do like, I enjoy wearing dresses and skirts, but like not all the time. There's plenty of times where I'll want to wear shorts, where I'll want to wear jeans. I like wearing skirts. I like wearing dresses. I enjoy a comfortable mix between all of them. So I'll just say average. I'll just say average. It's acceptable, makes fun of someone based on their identity. Oh, shit. I'm going to agree. I'm not going to go strongly agree, but I will agree because you know what? Someone that exactly. It depends. Like, am I going to make fun of someone who identifies as trans and they're an actual trans person and not an organophiliac or an SJR trans person? No, I will not make fun of a normal trans person that is just acting like a normal person who happens to be trans. No, I won't make fun of them. The trans people, like what we saw at that town meeting where you had the woman show up with like the fucking rainbow colored beard and shit. Oh yeah, you get to make fun of them. So I will just go with agree versus strongly agree. So that's why I'm gonna go with agree versus strongly agree. Let's see. My country or people should apologize for crimes and wrongdoings our ancestors have committed. Nope. Fucking get over it. This is, I know what this question's for. This question is for basically the reparations bullshit. No, get the fuck over it. Slavery ended like 200 fucking years ago. Get the fuck over it. The world has moved on. It's time for you to move on too. You're not going to get reparations. Stop fucking asking. Slavery was abolished 2 centuries ago. If you're going to, the people that keep harping on wanting reparations, or the fact that people keep harping on the fact that, oh, my ancestors were enslaved, but you're not. So they're using it as an excuse why the government should give them shit. End of story. Any black person that basically tries to use slavery as an excuse and say like, oh, well, your ancestors enslaved my ancestors, fuckity bye. You're now using it as an excuse because you want free shit, and you basically can't do it yourself because either you're not capable, you have no skills, or you're just a lazy scumbag that just wants handouts. So fuckity bye. So strongly fucking agree that you should apologize for crimes or wrongdoings that the ancestors. It's just like the fucking land recognition shit that goes on in Canada, where practically every fucking event has to start off with, we recognize that we are on stolen land. Fuckity bot. Get rid of that shit. Okay? Canada was settled hundreds of years ago. Okay? The country of Canada was settled by the Europeans hundreds of years ago. Get the fuck over it. Climb down off the cross use the wood to build a bridge and get the fuck over it. If you can't figure that out, shut the fuck up. Fuckity bye. I don't want to hear from you. You are not going to be a productive voice. Fuck off. End of story. So, strongly disagree. Women only. Okay. How much of the domestic labor, childcare, cooking, cleaning would you do in a relationship? I would say probably most. I don't think I do almost all, but I'd say would you? Yeah. So would you? I would say I would probably do most. I wouldn't do almost all. I would expect, well, maybe. I mean, maybe I'd be considered trad. Like if I do most of it, sure. Yeah, I'd say trad. Not all of it. I would expect my strapping hubby, my big strong hubby, to do some things, absolutely. But I would do the childcare, I would do the cooking, I would do the cleaning. Sure, absolutely. I would do most. Homosexuality is against my values. No, it's not. Strongly disagree. I have absolutely zero objection to homosexuality whatsoever. So, easy answer, strongly disagree. Men only. Okay, well, I'm not a man, so I'm curious with questions. How much of the domestic labor would you do? Okay, it's the same question. So, not a man. Fundamentally, our society is sexist and patriarchal, and this is a bad thing. Boy, this is a two-parter. Okay, this is a two-parter. So the first part is fundamentally our society is sexist and patriarchal. Patriarchal, yes, I'll agree with. Sexist, here's I got a problem. Is it patriarchal? Sure. Yes, it is. So our society is indeed patriarchal. Sexist? No. Just because it's patriarchal does not mean it's sexist. That is two different things. Patriarchal means that the men are men and the men are predominantly in charge of things. That's patriarchal. Sexist basically takes patriarchal and basically puts that negative spin where men look down upon women as lesser creatures. So you're getting a fucking dichotomy of terminology here by saying that society is sexist and patriarchal. That's two different concepts. The question, you would choose neutral? Yeah, no one hates women more than other women. Absolutely correct. Oh, absolutely correct. And you know what? I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with maybe this is a gimme where they were trying to basically use. No, fuck. You know what? I'm gonna go with agree that it's like even though sexist doesn't work, even though sexist doesn't work in the context of sexist and patriarchal because one is actually antithetical to the other. Patriarchy is actually, despite what the SJR say, patriarchy is not the villainous ideology that they try and make it out to be. All the time you hear about, we need to destroy the patriarchy. No, what the patriarchy means is that men have a place of dominance in society. Men basically are the ones that basically run society. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. We've seen what happens when women are in charge. Look at female judges. Okay, just look at female judges. Fuckity bye with the female judges. So a lot of the business, a lot of the heads of business with women. How many businesses have failed because women are in charge? Look at the gaming industry. Look at the gaming industry, for the love of God. How many games and game studios have failed because women were in charge? Look at Sweet Baby Inc. that destroyed so many gaming industries. Who was in charge? Women. So the patriarchy is not this boogeyman that the SJRs love to make be. Star Wars, exactly. The film industry, the entertainment industry. Women have destroyed it all. They really fucking have. So the patriarchy is actually a good thing, and sexist doesn't fit in with patriarchy. Again, it's two different concepts that they're putting in the same sentence and acting like they are the same fucking thing. So, it's a bad thing. Disagree. No, if we're gonna go with the concept that our society is patriarchal and it's a bad thing, nope. Totally disagree. I think it's particularly offensive for people to say slurs. No. I'm not going to say strongly disagree. So you guys might expect me to jump immediately to strongly disagree. I will disagree. There are some slurs that I won't say, that I won't do. there are a couple like the N word. I won't say the N word. I know Pete, there's, well, I don't think it's bad if someone else uses it. To me, for me personally, the N word is a word of deridement that is egregious, and I choose not to use it. That's me personally. If anyone else wants to use it, I don't care. Freedom of speech. You can say whatever the fuck you want. Me personally, I don't want to say, but I'm not about to impose that on other people. So I don't find it offensive that people say slurs. There are like in general, there are just some slurs where I'm just like, ooh, oh, I'm not thrilled about that. I'm not gonna tell them to shut up or anything like that, but I'm just gonna be like, I'd like to hear that. So I'll go with disagree versus strongly disagree, because I'm not going to infringe upon anybody's rights, but there are just things that I don't want to hear and I don't want to say. So, I am publicly out as LGBT. I mean, made it pretty clear that I'm good for both. I've made that kind of freaking clear, so I'd say I'm publicly out. Wouldn't you? I'd say I love men and I love ladies. So yeah, bi is LGBT is bi. I mean, in this context, yeah, that's what the B is. So I'll say yeah, I'm publicly out. I mean, it means fucking nothing, but yeah, I am. Hang on, I'm getting a message. Give me a second. Hey, Sax. Okay. Let's see. Many of the colonized benefited from colonialism. So this is basically just saying colonization is good. Am I about right with that? Many of it, it's basically saying colonialism is good. Honestly, yeah, I'm gonna say strongly agree, because think look at the lands that are uncolonized. Okay, look at the lands that are uncolonized, like Africa, like the Middle East. Those are uncolonized. What's the one word you can think of to ascribe to them? What's the one word you can think of to ascribe to Africa and the Middle East, which are predominantly the two regions of the planet that are uncolonized? Whereas, well, Western society and Eastern society has its problems, to be sure, it's in much better shape than the Middle East and Africa. By fucking far. Is Europe colonized? At some point it got colonized, yes. Basically colonized would basically mean modern society. That is what colonialism and colonized means. It basically means by modern society. By whom? Has been colonized by multiple people. I mean, the cradle of society is oh god, I used to know this. I think Iraq is the cradle of society. So basically, according to scientists, the cradle, it's like all society spawned from, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, it's Iraq. And humanity basically when Pangea, like Sumeria. I don't think it was Ethiopia. I don't believe, Babylon was southern Iraq. That's right. It's like basically when Pangea still existed, the cradle of society would have been what is now called modern Iraq. And then, so it basically spawned out from that, it spawned out from that region. And basically that, humanity spread out from there. and it's essentially like created their own little civilizations and societies and everything, and some basically, facilitated evolution faster, facilitated industrialization faster. And what happened is those that basically conquered industrialization faster are the ones that were able to take charge. They continued to spread out. They continued to colonize different lands, and you saw different sects break off, and different societies break off and form. And basically, in the end, we're seeing that's where the whole every land, every scrap of land on the planet was conquered in some way, because these societies, as they evolved, as they improved, as they became more technologically advanced, they would spread out and they would start conquering more lands. And when you conquer a land, that's colonization, because every conqueror basically improves the land and improves the technology and improves the society within it. So that is what colonization is. So basically, all of modern Western and to a degree Eastern society is colonization it is. And yes, I am simplifying it to an extreme. I am indeed, I fully agree. I am being very simplistic with it, because otherwise that is a fucking rabbit hole that we could go down for hours on that. So yes, I am being extremely simplistic in my explanations here. Yes, not every conqueror or colonizer did improve the land. I agree with that. But again, I am simplifying it. Overall, where, from basically from the cradle of life to modern day, generally speaking, as a whole, colonization has improved the land that was colonized. Generally speaking, as a whole. So in Western society and in Eastern society, the colonization of those lands did benefit the land and improve the land from a societal standpoint. The areas of the world that are not colonized, i.e. the majority of Africa and the Middle East, majoritively speaking, they're not doing so hot, are they? They're not doing so great in terms of, not being complete shitholes. So yes, I will go with agree. I won't go with strongly agree, because as you put, Desdar, not all colonization resulted in positivity. I won't, so that's why I'm going to go with agree versus strongly agree. But yes, many to most of those that were colonized did benefit from said colonialism. Okay, whatever else you think of him, Donald Trump should be recognized as a very funny man. Okay, this is subjective. This is subjective. I'm just gonna be flat out neutral. It's like, okay, there's like, this is humor subjective. I personally don't find him all that funny. I don't. Like, I can appreciate what others say is humorous about him. Like, I understand why some people say he's funny, why some of you guys say he's hilarious. I don't see that, but it's like, I'm borderline fucking autistic and I don't get humor. So that may be part of the problem, is maybe I just don't get the humor that he exudes, that you guys get. So I'm not gonna disagree that disagree with him being funny. I'll just say neutral, because I'm just kind of I'm just kind of like bet when it comes to this. The family should be abolished. Fuck no. Wait, is this a viewpoint some people actually have? That the family should be abolished? Is this a thing? Oh, hell fuck no. If the family gets abolished, humanity gets abolished. Okay? Let's be nice and sparkling clear. If you abolish the family, you are abolishing human society. Human society cannot function without family. It will cease to exist, because if you do not have family, you will not have proper upbringing, you will not have proper values, you will not have proper balance in raising well-adjusted children. And if you basically just have a bunch of single moms and single dads popping out kids left, right, and center and overtaking the country with single parent children, then the country is the fucking world will literally fucking destroy itself in the absence of family. The whole reason society succeeds is because of family. That is the entire reason why it succeeds. Why the hell do we think we see all of this like outrageous behavior that we hate? And the first words out of our mouth, fatherless babe. You need family to raise proper, well-adjusted children. End of story. Full fucking stop. So strongly fucking disagree. The family should be abolished. Obviously. Borders and nation state should be abolished. Fuck no. What? Oh my god, this is some abject, insane, psychopathic SJR rhetoric right the fuck here. Get rid of borders, get rid of nations. Are you fucking kidding me? As if there was any doubt. Strongly fucking disagree. Is my hair dyed? Gonna answer this off screen if you don't mind. If you don't mind, I'm gonna answer this one off screen. See, to eat meat is morally wrong. No, we're omnivores. Humans are designed to eat meat. Eating meat is not morally wrong. Literally, human beings biologically are designed to eat meat. We are omnivores. We need meat to get in proper nutrients and vitamins. Why do you think vegans all look like fucking skeletons? Meat is good. Meat makes humans strong. Yes, I like meat. I like the meat. So yes, strongly fucking disagree that eating meat is morally wrong. My romantic partner is, well, this one you all know, so there's no need to basically hide the answer on this one. I am single. I'm single. Men only. Okay, not a man. Can't. Well, okay. So for the men, we may be taking the test. I have no women friends, but only online. One woman friend in real life, multiple women friends in real life. But not a man, so I like offending people and intentionally say provocative things. This one's actually tough. Because believe it or not, I don't actually like offending people. I do not take like pleasure in proactively offending people. Now, if I offend somebody in my responses, in my passionate responses to someone, and like that, you know, if I basically give facts about something that someone says and they get offended by the facts, I don't necessarily enjoy it all the time. And I don't think I intentionally say provocative things. So like, it sounds like this is saying, do you like to troll? That's what I feel like that. Do you like trolling people? Am I wrong? That's what it feels like this question is asking. Do you like to troll? And honestly, I don't. I don't troll people. Like, when I offend people, I'm not doing it because I'm trolling. It happens because they say something that's abjectly wrong or just flat out fucking stupid. And they get offended that I pointed out. So, that's not trolling. That's just me being right and them hating being wrong. So, I'm actually going to kind of go into disagree. You know, I'll be fair and I'll go neutral. I'll be neutral about it. Sometimes I might do teeny bit of trolling. I do meme on people, but that's not trolling though. I don't know if that'd be like actual trolling where I'm like rage baited. So I'll go neutral. I do a little memeing, but I don't do trolling, which is how this seems to be phrased. So I'll just say neutral. I'll just say neutral on it. It's acceptable to make fun of someone based on their appearance. Fuck. I'm gonna have to agree. I am. Well, okay, here's the thing. It's not, for me, it's not solely on their appearance. Here's the thing. When it comes to like making, like, obviously I've made fun of how people look. Obviously I've done that. But usually do so based upon a combo platter of how they look and how they behave. So it's usually I typically do not make fun of someone based upon their looks, solely based upon their looks. I will make fun of someone's looks when that person is also an abject piece of shit. And so then when they act like a piece of shit, well now it's game fucking on and I'll go after their looks. So yeah, although this is saying it's generally acceptable in comedy. Yeah, you're right. If we're talking about from comedy, you know what? I'm going to agree that it is acceptable to make fun. Just like from a comedic standpoint, yeah, I'll agree. It's acceptable to make fun of someone based on their appearance. Yes, and hello, Blake Lounge. Hello. Excuse me. Hello, Raiders. Welcome in of our kick side. Welcome in. I'm in the Oh, crap. I've got hiccups. Excuse me. Welcome in. I'm in the middle of taking the Chud Woke quiz. About halfway through taking Chud Woke. So if you want to join me and see if I'm Chud or Woke, let's find out. I'm gonna agree. I will do an agree. I won't go strongly agree because at some point I think there is a line on making fun of someone's appearance. But I will agree. Like, you can make fun of some. You can comedy based off appearance. We've been doing it for literally generations. It's fine. It's fine. I'm attending or have attended. I did do some school. I did do some college, so I'll say, but it wasn't a regular university. I have to say other. I would say, because I didn't attend a university. So I will just say other. I followed the health advice and masking recommendations during COVID. Okay, chat, I have a question. If I was forced to by my job, does that count? The only time I followed health advice and masking recommendations during COVID is because I had to, because of work, and because I had to for travel purposes when I went to go visit family. That's it. That's the only time I did the following the health advice and masking. I guess they mean when you went out on your own, like going to start fuck. No. When I was at my job, I did because my company said I had to. And when I went on, when I went to go visit my family, and they were forcing us to do it on airplanes, yeah, I did. But that was it. Otherwise, fuck no, I didn't. So, would that be a disagree? I would say that will qualify as disagree. You'd say it's an agree. Neutral because it wasn't your choice? Yeah, you know what? That sounds about right. Well, See, but I didn't follow the health advice. I followed the guidelines as put forth by my job and by the airline. That wasn't me following the health advice. Yeah, so it's going to be disagree because I myself did not follow the health advice and recommendations. I only masked up because my employer said you have to wear one and the airline said you have to wear one, not because I was following health advice. So I'll say disagree. I'm going to say disagree. The presence of another culture is no threat to my own. Okay. This one's tough. This one's tough. Because the reason why I say it's tough, the mere presence of another culture is not a threat. However, when that culture tries to steamroll over my culture, then it becomes a threat. So literally just the mere presence of it, I do not consider a threat. I mean, for God's sakes, when I was in the States, I've lived around multiple cultures, and I never considered them a threat. I live around multiple cultures now, and I don't consider them a threat because they are not trying to impede on or infringe upon my culture or my freedoms. Just their mere presence, I don't constitute a threat. I don't. So I'll say no. I'll say neutral. I'll say neutral. Cause yeah, and that's the thing. It's the question is asking about other cultures existing. And it's why I'm kind of like neutral edging into agree. I'm gonna say neutral to be safe on this. Because I'm not quite sure I want to go into agree. That's the I'm not entirely sure I want to go into agree because while the presence of another culture is no threat to my own culture, I do still keep an eyeball on it. If that makes sense. I don't consider it a threat, but I might be, keeping an eye on things perhaps to make sure that there is not an effort to become a threat. Does that make sense? Just standing there menacingly. Am I overthinking it, you think? Chat, am I overthinking this? Am I legitimately overthinking this? And thank you, Blake Lounge. Thank you for the gifted. Am I overthinking this? Like, based on what I've said, do other cultures existing present a threat to my own? I'll go into agree. The mere, I'm gonna go into agree. The mere presence of another culture is not threatening to my culture. So for me, I will say agree. Men only. Uh-oh. For any man that answers this, do you have a man bun or shaved sides and short to medium top? Men in chat, what was your answer? Gender should be abolished. Fuck you. Easy answer. Strongly disagree. Easy fucking answer. Thank you, Gramps. It's good when companies publicly support progressively social causes. This day and age, no. The my own question is, do I disagree or strongly disagree? You know what, the way they've been going, I'm gonna say strongly disagree. Everything is dialed up to 11. Strongly disagree. Yep. Non-binary only. Well, I'm not non-binary. No one is illegal on stolen land. Fuck it. Oh my god, I can't believe this question got in here. Because of course that no one is illegal. Fuck off. Strongly disagree. Strongly fucking disagree. Of course. Well, yeah, don't forget, they're gauging chud and woke. And so all the wokies would do strongly disagree. Whereas people with a functioning brain would be strongly disagree. Which is what I'm doing, because I'm strongly disagree. There are some words or phrases people should be socially punished for using. Okay, so here's my question on this. Would some of those words or phrases people get punished for include, exactly, would that include like threats? Would that be like saying, oh, I don't know, to quote a circa communist, you should kill X person. You should kill all of the capitalists, and quoting now Twitch, the famous quotation of killing all the capitalists so the streets can run red with their capitalistic blood, as Hassan has said. Would that be considered a phrase that should be people should be socially punished for using? Yeah, keyword is socially, not meaning the legal system. Hell. This is tough. You know what? I'm going to say disagree. Since we're talking socially, I'll disagree. Freedom of speech. Would I agree from a legality standpoint? Certainly not. From a social perspective, I'll disagree. Because bearing in mind, the stuff that I have railed against, where I've said someone should be punished, is it because of illegality. So, people that have basically called for the deaths of others. That is an issue of legality that would fall in line with, say, terms of service for a certain social media platform that they have broadcasted this on. So I'm looking at that from a legality standpoint, not a social standpoint. Socially, they can say whatever they want, and then they can be embarrassed by someone basically calling them out on what they said and showcasing that they're a fucking moron. So socially, well, okay, hold up. Because I think there's another angle to this. This is also perhaps referencing people like that have said something on social media that has resulted in them getting fired from their job. That's another aspect of it. Like the people who basically were TikTok dancing to Charlie Kirk and got fired from the job. That would be socially punished. I classify that as social punishment, yes, because they weren't legally punished. They were socially punished. People would contact their place of employment, said, you're hiring a whatever, and get them fired. And do you think that there are specific words or terms people should be publicly? You're right. It's saying public words or phrases. Specific words or, you know what? You're right. You're right. We're talking. You're right. I'm kind of going off path here, and it's talking about some specific words or phrases people should be socially punished for. You're right. That's disagree. For specific words or phrases in and of themselves, no. No, you're right. Sep, thank you. I was getting off track on that. I was kind of getting myself into the weeds. You're right. This is asking if there are certain words or phrases that people use that people should be punished for simply for using, taking context completely out of the equation. Yeah, that one, actually, I think I'm going to strongly disagree. I will strongly disagree with that one. We should end programs that support diversity, equity, inclusion in business and government. Fuck yes. Yes, we should absolutely end programs that support diversity, equity, inclusion in business and government. Abso-fucking-lutely. I am waiting until marriage for sex. Oh, who the fuck am I kidding? What, did you all think I was a virgin? I hate to be the bearer of terrible news, chat, but I'm not the sweet virginal girl that you all have put me on a pedestal as. I'm sorry. I have fucked and I have loved fucking, so I hate to be the bearer of bad news. I know I said virginal. or virginal. God, I cannot fucking word today. Oh my God. I cannot word. I'm like, my brain, I'm fucking fried today. Holy shit. Uh, okay. We shouldn't expose children to gay or transgender people until they're older. Yes! Well, okay. No, wait. No, 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 no. Okay. Okay. This phrasing is tricky. Because well, no, hold on. It's saying we shouldn't expose them. It is not saying that we should basically say that they're trying. Yeah, this like the phrasing in and of itself is a little fucked. Well, it's saying like you can't simply expose them. Like, if you see a transgender person, you have to go, oh, come with me, Billy. We can't be near that person until you're older. Like, no. I disagree with the simple like, oh, we shouldn't expose. If you're gonna say like, oh, we shouldn't like be if the question was we shouldn't be teaching children in schools about, especially in grade schools about transgender or about gay, and thus indoctrinating these children and basically saying, oh, you're trans at the age of 10 or 9 years old, then I would be a hard agree on that. But the wording is a very close gotcha where they're saying we shouldn't even expose them to the mere existence. That I'll disagree with it. Is that we should it's like knowing that they simply exist and are human beings, at least the ones that are not SJR psychopaths. There's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. So it's like this one I'm going to disagree about. We should not expose children to gay or transgender people until they're older. On this one, I got it. Absolutely, I'll disagree. We should keep all sovereignty at the national level rather than granting powers to organizations like the EU or UN. In this day and age, I got to agree. The EU and the UN are failed organizations. If you had asked me this question, like say 30 years ago, 40 years ago, maybe if I was alive and cognizant and aware of what the fuck was going on back then, maybe I might agree. Like 40 years ago. Now, yeah, we absolutely should keep all sovereignty at a national level rather than organizations like the EU or the UN, because the EU and the UN is not interested in basically, they have become failures of organizations. They have become DEI nations. They've become they become DEI organizations. They have become scam organizations. Like think about it. The head of security for I think it's the UN. If memory serves, the head of the security agency in the UN is affiliated with one of the scams in Minnesota. Okay, it's like these organizations have become failures. Oh, you're right. The EU's not doing that much better, though, is it? Is the EU even doing much better right now? Honestly? It's really not. No, I said if I was alive and cognizant and aware of what was happening, like 40 years ago. You missed the if. EU is fucked. Even the German people want out of the EU now. Oh, I think a lot. There's been a big movement for a lot of the European nations wanting out of the EU. UK obviously got out of it. Germany wants out of it. Pretty sure Poland wants out of it. It's the EU president is elected by the people as the new dictator. It's But you know what? It's okay. I don't think it's specifying here's the thing. It's organizations like the EU or UN. So I think it's speaking broadly. I believe that it's speaking more broadly and not saying specifically like the EU and the UN. It's using them as examples. And so it's asking more of a question of should sovereignty be kept at a national level instead of engaging in unilateral multinational organizations? Should we be a part of a multinational organized group, or should we basically collapse into a more nationalist kind of state? Honestly, in this day and age, I'm gonna have to agree. Now, granted, I'm looking at it from a perspective of North America. Okay, that's the only kind of perspective I can give on this one. For those of you in Europe, you may have a different perspective on it because you have lived in that area. So you may have a very different perspective. From my perspective, in North America, with both the US and Canada, yeah, I agree. We should keep the sovereignty at a national level. I don't think that either Canada or the US should be giving powers to organizations like the EU or the UN. In the modern day, I have to agree that we need to be getting more nationalistic, at least in North America. There is racial inequality in society that disadvantages certain groups, and we should address it. No. Gonna have to disagree. It's not racial inequality anymore. It's not. It's cultural. What people love to classify at, excellent point. White people now racially are white people now subject to racial inequality? That's an excellent point. It's only racial if you let it be racial. Well, the fact is, white people are being disenfranchised. Just like to put a fine point on it, look at the Hollywood requirements. Oh, I know the question is meant to refer to minorities, and I don't give a fuck. Look at Hollywood, and to put a fine point on. If you want your movie to be considered for an Oscar nom, you are required to have non-white people in key parts of the filmmaking process, either as actors or behind the scenes, specifically non-white. That is racial inequality towards white people. So that's a tough one. Yeah, hence the Odyssey. Exactly. They took a historical character that was white and made her black multiple times. So what is that inequality? Would that go to the level of inequality?
You also need to be above a certain age, so it's also at just sheer 100.
I'll go neutral because is there racial inequality for non-white people? Not anymore. If you want to try and argue inequality, look at it from a cultural perspective, because that's where that's the issue. Race is not the issue anymore with non-white people. It's culture. However, with all non-white people, they hate white people, so they're racist against white people, and that's gonna be a whole fucking rabbit hole. I'm gonna say neutral on it. Because while I don't think there's racial inequality in terms of non-white people, I do think there is starting to become racial inequality for white and Asian people. So I'll say neutral. Deportation is legitimate even if no crime other than overstaying visa has been committed. Yes. Absolutely. Because in and of itself, overstaying one's visa is a crime. Still a crime. They're still here illegally. You're still taking resources away from U.S. citizens. Yes. Still a crime. Go away. Fuckity bye. Hell yes. It's acceptable to make fun of generalized groups. Yeah, sure. Absolutely. Make fun of people. Comedy. Men should hold a position of power over women in society.
Cheer 100, but it also states
You're
in
a-
all cases, so would that include the legal ones?
What? What are you talking about? Ha. You know what? In modern day, in this day and age, yeah, you can't trust women to be holding positions of power in society. Generally speaking, you can't generally speaking, chat, can't trust the bitches anymore. Nowadays, we've seen it. These bitches be crazy. You can't trust them, and not anymore. They've been corrupted. They've had their minds twisted. Just can't trust them anymore. So yeah, I'm gonna have to agree. Is a state's right to enforce unity of culture and language? A state's right. Ah. If this had been a country's right, I would have strongly agreed. State's right, though. Yeah. Well, that's a question. Like, is this referring to a state, or is it referring to a nation? That's where the phrasing is. That's where I'm wondering about the phrasing. Is it referring to states as country, as like the sort of like the royal state? State, not nation? You think it's just referring to state as government? Yeah, like you read it as a nation state. Yeah, like that's what I'm wondering. Are we talking about a state or a nation state? Eh. Why not think about both? Because it'd be a very different answer. Okay? The enforcing unity of culture and language for the country of the United States would be different from enforcing a unity of culture and language from the state of Texas. It would be a bit different. This would be like nation official language, not as far as Quebec. Yeah, exactly. I'm not sure how I feel about this because saying yes, the state has the right to enforce a unity of culture and language. So basically, that's like saying, okay, the state of Minnesota.
States' rights as I'm reading it, cheer 100.
Yeah. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, exactly. So like, okay, if we go it as a states' rights, as in a state has the right to enforce unity of culture and language, okay, look at what's happening in Minnesota and Michigan, and New York, where they are becoming Islamic states.
She's so cute.
You are seeing Islamic culture and language taking over the state of Minnesota, the state of Michigan, state of New York. In America, which is, colloquially speaking, an English Christian nation. So we have to assume that those three states want it to become an Islamic state. Should they have the right to do that? Should those states have the right to become Islamic states? You know? Right. The simple answer would be no. These states exist within the United States of America, which is an English-speaking country. It has an English is the national language, and it has a culture of America, which is founded on Christianity, but it is an American culture, not an Islamic culture. So, you see where I'm struggling with this. You see why I'm struggling with the states' rights to enforce unity of culture and language. Uh, I would say, nope, the ideology is antagonistic to the culture of the state. Well, that's what it's saying. That the state, if the state is corrupted by an antithetical culture, then that state then becomes that antithetical culture, and now the state is enforcing that culture and language, which is diametrically different from the rest of the nation. Assume that the nation is the most common use of the state. You can't, not anymore, you can't. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go neutral. Because I'm gonna have to go neutral because I just don't know how to answer this. The way that it's posed, the way the question's posed, if the nation cannot defend its own culture and foundations, it will destabilize and collapse. Exactly. Yeah, I'll go neutral. I support doing land acknowledgements. Fuck you. As if I needed to even hesitate. No, I don't support doing land acknowledgements. Fuck that bullshit. Parents should hold absolute power over their children as they are older and... Okay, I'm not quite sure what absolute power means. I'm guessing this is in reference to basically trans kids and like schools withholding trans information from their kids and shit like that. Or basically, teaching kids about stuff, in grade school that they shouldn't be learning. Yeah, making basically the school's indoctrinating kids to become trans when they're 9 years old, shit like that. Yeah, I think this is basically parents have absolute power over their children in regards to outside factors trying to influence them. That's it. The phrasing is off. The phrasing sounds worse than it actually is with this absolute power, but it's basically parents are in charge of the children. Parents have the first and final say in decisions when it comes to their children until they're older and are able to be out on their own. So yes, strongly agree. If entertainment media or commercials have a certain identity makeup, whether that be a lack of diversity or forced diversity, that upsets me. Forced diversity, yeah, I agree. That upsets me. Yeah. Absolutely. I'm going to say strongly agree because media these days pisses me off. So I'm going to say strongly agree because it's just races are scientific reality. Well, no, we're all humans. Race is a construct. Realistically speaking, race is a social construct. It is not scientific. Okay? White, black, brown, tan, olive, whatever. That's all social construct based upon melanin. What they mean is ethnicity. It's still a construct based on melanin. We're all human. Here's the thing. If say a black person was actually a different race, they would not be a Homo sapien. If we're talking about scientific, if we're talking about science, then a black person, a brown person, an orange person would not be a Homo sapien if they were a different race. Genetically, they would be different. Do I mean species? Well, there's genus and there's species. There's both. genus would be race, species would be, no, it's me two different things. It'd be basically you would have a subset of Homo sapien. It'd be like different race to put it into like a fictional context. A different race would be like Homo sapien superior. I think that's kind of how it would play out with like you have Homo sapiens, normal humans, and for you X-Men fans, you would recognize this. You have Homo sapien. A different race would be Homo sapien superior. So certain groups are more at risk for health issues. Am I cooked? Chat, am I cooked? Am I freaking cooked right now on my scientific parallels? Am I? God, my brain is fried on this. This test is frying my brain. Okay. So, true, sickle cell anemia is a thing. You are correct. Yeah, so yeah, really, yeah, like race is a more of a layman term and not a scientific term. So I think that's kind of where it's kind of fucking me. Oh my God. Each race evolved differently. There are genetic differences between groups. But would they be classified as races? Depends on how racist the science is. I'm gonna say neutral. I'm gonna say neutral because because race is used in a social construct these days far more than it's used in the scientific. And that's where I'm struggling with this race is not used scientifically these days. It's not. It really isn't. It's very much used in a social aspect of it. So I'm gonna say neutral. I'm gonna say neutral on this just because of that reason. It's like I haven't read in on scientific categorizations in regards to race and terminologies. I'm just gonna say neutral because a strong hierarchy is desirable in a society. Yeah, I'll agree. You do need a strong hierarchy. If you don't have a hierarchy, you will have chaos. That's what anarchy is. That's what happens with anarchy. Without a strong hierarchy, you have anarchy, and anarchist societies fail miserably. So absolutely, I'll agree. I support reparation for slavery or colonialism. Do I really need to go through this? No, I do not. Slavery has ceased to exist for at least 200 years. Get the fuck over it. You come at me with your reparations disagreement, I will tell you to fuckity bye. Online harassment or cancellation is a serious issue. You know what? I'm actually going to agree. I'm actually going to kind of agree. Because yeah, we are getting to the point that it is because online harassment and cancellation is actually starting to improperly affect people offline. And it's affecting people's ability to earn a living in, affecting people that have done nothing and is affecting their ability to make a living. People that, they get doxxed, they get swatted, they get their, people have had their channels canceled because of the harassment. People have had their jobs called and been fired because of false allegations and harassment in this respect. So yeah, I agree. It is a serious issue. It is. Transgender people are the gender they say they are. No, they're not. I went through this. I went through this earlier. This is not me. This is not saying that I don't support actual transgender people. But the fact is, biologically speaking, they are not. I'm not going to split hairs on this one. They are not they are not. Biologically, they're not. I'll still for actual trans people. No, it's splitting hairs. It's split for this test, it's splitting hairs. I still support trans people because actual trans people also know that they are not the biological gender that they present. And again, they carry that. Actual transgender people do not actually pretend that they are biologically something that they are not. So that is why I'm going with disagree versus strongly disagree. Because again, I am deliberately making a differentiation between actual trans people and the autogonophiliacs and the psychopaths. So body dysphoria? Yeah. Or body dysphoria, yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna do a disagree versus strongly disagree for that reason. I put pronouns in my bio. Fuck no. People describe me as, I'm going to say neither of these. I don't think you guys have ever classified me as judgmental or abrasive. You guys have said I'm tough when I'm firm about something. I don't think you guys have ever classified me as judgmental or abrasive. So I'm going to say neither. Neopronouns or exogenders aren't legitimate. Correct. What the fuck is a xenogender? I called it an exogender for some fucking reason because words are hard today. What the fuck is a xenogender? Z. Okay, I'll be legit. I have no fucking clue what the hell Z-Zer even fucking is. Okay, someone calls themselves a Z-Zer, they need to get put in Z-Box. The minute someone comes at me with a Z-Zer, they can get in Z-Box. Because you are not right in the head and you need to be removed from fucking society. So, strongly agree, they are not legitimate. Not the slightest. They should be removed from all paperwork. They should be male or female. Get rid of the non-binary, get rid of the two-spirit, get rid of the questioning, get rid of all that. Like, enough. Enough feeding into people's insane delusions. Enough's enough. I have compared real-life political events to mainstream entertainment such as Star Wars, anime, or Harry Potter. Yeah, I've done that before. I have, maybe not necessarily Harry Potter, but I've compared it to, like, mainstream entertainment. Absolutely, I have, yes. Gender is a social construct, not a natural state of affairs. Nope, disagree. Not a social construct. Abortion should be legal in all circumstances. I'll disagree. This one I'll actually disagree. I don't have an outright objection to abortion as a whole. You guys remember this when I had my discussion with Celestium. Is that while I don't agree with abortion wholesale, I do recognize that there are specific circumstances where I understand why it would be presented and taken as an option. And that's what I'm talking about. I'm not, like, as I've said before, using it as birth control, yes, I'm against that. Absolutely. But I've said before that there are very, very specific circumstances, such as in the case of where a woman is raped and said rape results in pregnancy, that I can certainly understand why abortion might be on the table for something like that. If a woman is pregnant and basically there is, there's a problem with the fetus or the infant, where it's basically the life of the infant or the life of the mother. I get it. I can understand why that would be, like ectopic pregnancy. Like, again, that's where I can see where the abortion could be on the table as an option. Okay? It's specific very specific circumstances. I would be open to that option being on the table. But again, very specific circumstances. So that's why I'd say disagree instead of strongly disagree that it should be legal in all circumstances. So that right there, the all circumstances, yeah, disagree. It should be legal in all circumstances. Because it should be illegal in many, but there are, shall we say, niche situations where it should be on the table. Animals deserve certain universal rights. Agree. Easy. Agree. Okay. So I am X should is should. So I do not act, so I'm like half, I don't even know what the hell this means. So I am chud. I am chud. And I am more chud versus acting chud. So I'm not just pretending. I'm not just pretending to act chud. I actually am chud. I wouldn't say I'm chud light. If I was chud light, I would be further back here and I'd be higher up on the X chud. If I was chud light, I think this puts me more firmly into chud. I think this puts me a little bit more into genuinely chud. Leaf, I have no doubt Leaf was higher chud. I have no doubt. That, no question. Absolutely no question that Leaf was, very chud.